How many dots do you think it takes to make one piece of pointillism art? Stippling art. Pointillism is when you create a range of colors with paint dots usually, I think, and stippling is what I'm doing here in this piece. Just bunch of little dots, various spaces, various amount of spacing between them to create different shapes and textures and tones and stuff like that. But what is the minimum number of dots that it takes to make an art piece? Now, I think that most of us would like to think of ourselves as very broad and open-minded and inclusive thinkers. And we like to consider ourselves as people who think about art very broadly and open-mindedly and inclusively. And with that in mind, I think that most of us would probably be happy to come to the conclusion that either one or I'll say one is the minimum number of dots you need for a stippling piece. I was about to say 0, but then it would just be some other kind of art. It wouldn't be stippling. I'm not saying it's not art. It would be something else. I mean, maybe it could be stippling. You can wrangle dangle art definitions around however you like. It doesn't bother me. I don't really like defining things like that anyways. But I will say I have at least at one point in my life made a single point stippling piece, but it was greeted with fairly high acclaim by those who saw it, but I did think it suffered a little bit due to the fact that I drew it on a Post-it note, and I was very thoughtful about it, about the placement of the one dot on the Post-it note. It was if I remember correctly, it was I think it was a little bit up and to the right. I don't know, you say a lot. The fewer dots you have, the more you say with each dot. And when you have only one dot to place, that one dot says everything. Putting it right in the middle is dangerous, because if you try to put it right in the middle, people will notice that you tried to put it right in the middle and notice how badly you failed. But maybe that's saying something too. Like, that could also be good art for a different reason, But you could also go put it on the edge somewhere. I just put it near the center, but up and to the right a bit, I think. And I think this piece might have also suffered because I didn't frame it or anything. I didn't get it up off my desk at all. And I think I later got a little bit of oil from like a chicken sandwich on it or something. And I do regret to say that I threw it away later. So somewhere, slowly decaying in a landfill, I hope. Or maybe, if I was smart, if I was forward thinking, I would have recycled it. Now that's a cool idea. What if we started drawing things, right? Draw something on a piece of paper, put it in the recycling bin, believe that it doesn't all go to the same place, and think that later you might be wiping your mouth after eating a burrito with a tiny bit of your own recycled art, because you get those napkins at some places that say they're made out of like whatever percentage of recycled material, right? Is that from where does that recycled material come from? From the stuff I throw in the recycle bin? And then from all the art you throw in the recycle bin, just think of how many other people could be using your recycled materials. What are the most popular recycled materials? I can only think of napkins right now. Maybe those drink holders, those kind of weird fluffy cardboard drink holders you get from fast food places in the drive-thru. I feel like those are probably recycled. At least I hope they are, because if those aren't recycled, they could do a whole lot better on those. But yes, I spent some number of hours putting dots on a piece of paper here. Sometimes I spaced them a little bit farther out apart. Sometimes I clumped them a little bit closer together, and I didn't plan it out at all. At least when I started with the stippling, you can just kind of start putting them out there, and they'll kind of start to create their own textures. You can watch it happen. It's like you're a spectator and a participant in your own art. If I was going to give you any tips for stippling, I would say the finer tip you use, the better your stippling will probably look. And even though it will take longer. And the slower and more deliberately you place the dots, the better it might look. Another thing that's cool about stippling is you can kind of do those. You ever look at those 3D, what are those called? Stereographs, where you look at them and you cross your eyes and you look at a certain distance and you like move it away and then suddenly you see a dolphin or whatever you see in those. I think everyone sees something else in each one. That's what's so beautiful about them. But these are cool because that's what's so cool about a stippling piece. If you look closely, you see all the dots, and then if you back up a bit, you start to see all the dots merge and blend together into not dots. You know, if you see it from a distance, you might not even guess at all that it's made up of dots at all. If I don't know if you did a good job. Probably you would be able to tell if you used really big dots, like, you know, using like a Magnum Sharpie or something. You can only fit like 50 dots on the page. How many dots do you think there are on this page? Every dot I drew has been recorded and shown in this video. So if someone wants to, they can, you know, play this at like 0.25x speed and just spend some good quality time counting dots as I put them down. Or you can look at the little scan at the end and count them that way. Alright, I think that'd be a good use of your time. Or you can come up with a good estimate for me. I don't have a good reason for you to do that, but it's something you could do. Alright, goodbye everybody. There's a drawing.